Hello and welcome to National Focus for Tuesday, August 6, 2024. I am Julian Morris. In the headlines, Dominica makes history with its first Olympic gold medalist, Thea Lafont-Gatson. Sports development remains a priority for government. And the President, Sylvanie Burton, calls on developed nations to take responsibility for combating climate change. The details of the headline stories and more when we return.
Ride safe, wear a helmet, safer roads in the nature aisle. This message was brought to you by the government of the Commonwealth of Dominica.
Welcome back. Prime Minister the Honourable Rosevelt Scarit and the Ministry of Sports continue to wish Thea Lafont-Gatson ongoing success in her extraordinary career. Lafont-Gatson created history when she became Dominica's first gold medalist last Saturday at the Olympic Games in Paris. She competed in the women's triple jump, setting a national record of 15.02 meters. Prime Minister Scarit spoke with the Olympic champion, who has made history as Dominica's first Olympic gold medalist.
Good evening, sir. How are you doing today?
Well, congratulations, you made every one of us very, very proud, and so we celebrate with you, and we look forward to celebrating with you even more when you return home.
Thank you. I really look forward to it also, and I appreciate the support. I saw your social media posts. I appreciate it. And we are on cloud nine over here.
I know. I mean, everyone in Dominica is ecstatic, and not only Dominicans, but so many well-wishers from every part of the world have been messaging me, extending congratulations on the gold medal. So we'll certainly share with you some things that the government will do at the appropriate time.
Okay. All right.
So we look forward to celebrating with you in a grand way.
I really, really appreciate it. Thank you for taking time out of your day today.
I started watching, but I couldn't stop watching. I couldn't continue watching,
Nerve-wracking, huh?
Everybody is, certainly. But we're very excited about this. And so congratulations again.
The gold medalist has expressed hope that this medal will help spur the development of track and field facilities on the island.
When I came out here and I jumped that jump, I was like, okay, it's far enough. Okay, won. And okay, Dominica looks good. But I don't really think I realized the grand scheme of things until, someone asked me a question about history and for my country in interviews like this. And so when I always say it's a privilege, it really, really is. I mean, my people have been behind me since I was like 16 doing this. And to finally bring home a gold for them is so special. And just knowing how hard my coach and husband worked, knowing how hard my Olympic committee and athletic association worked to support me. I used to be a teacher. I used to wake up and work out 5 a.m. in the morning, go to a classroom and be on the track afterwards. And in order to have me focus on that, they really supported me. It's paid off. It really has.
You know what's really beautiful about what you said after the competition and right now is you fully understand how sport can transcend.
Yeah.
So tell us about your people.
My people are amazing. Dominica, aka Waitukubuli, is the nature isle of the Caribbean. It is beautiful. It is a gem. The people are as beautiful as the land. And the support and love is abundant. And when I say it really takes a village to raise a child, let it be known that outside my family, and I do love my family, it really was the people that I met along the way, the people that they put in my life that kind of made me who I was, who made me resilient. And I'm so proud to be from that beautiful land. Thank you, Dominica.
The development of sports and the country's sportsmen and women remain a priority for government, with continued investments being made in the sector. These investments came in various forms, including direct investments in athletes and sporting infrastructure around the country.
And in 2024, when you look around and see the number of facilities all across the island, Mr. Speaker, and we're not just focusing on large facilities in the city or the Windsor Park or Portsmouth, Geneva. We're also focusing on small community-based facilities, Mr. Speaker. We can't ignore the grassroots man. You know, the man that have to go work and come home. He wants to play, but the facilities in the communities doesn't allow him, Mr. Speaker. And that's what we have been able to do.
The recent establishment of a sports council is further evidence of government's prioritization of the development of sports.
We remain committed to this. We're so committed to this that recently the government of Dominica appointed the formation of the National Sports Council. This was something that have been eluding us for some time, and I'm very happy that finally we were able to come through with the National Sports Council, Mr. Speaker, and we have appointed the very knowledgeable and experienced Mr. Billy Doctorow to spearhead that council, Mr. Speaker.
The modernization of sports legislation is a priority for the Sports Council.
The goal of the Sports Council is really to enhance the overall management of sports in Dominica. I know the member for Marigot asked. He asked. And although I suspect he knows, but he asked, Mr. Speaker, enhance the overall management of sports in Dominica. And of course, a large part of that will be looking at the current legislation that governs sports, Mr. Speaker. This is outdated. 1976 or thereabout. You know, we cannot function and seek to develop a sector, and we are operating in an archaic legal system, Mr. Speaker. So one of the mandates of the Sports Council is to look at that piece of legislation and see how we can modernize it.
He says focus will also be placed on the development of a national sports policy.
We have done very well in terms of the facilities and infrastructure aspects of sports. I think that now is the time for us to put some emphasis on the legal framework and the structure and deal with more intangibles, Mr. Speaker. So part of the mandate of the Sports Council will also be to finalize the national sports policy.
For the first time in her capacity as President of the Commonwealth of Dominica, Her Excellency Sylvanie Burton delivered remarks at the formal opening of the first meeting of the second session of the 11th Parliament on July 26. In her address, she focused on some of the pertinent issues which overshadow Dominica's goal to invest in the 2030 SDGs and the realization of a dynamic Dominica centered upon resilience. President Burton called upon developed nations to take responsibility for their inaction to combat the global crisis, climate change.
It is rather unfortunate that small states like ours, that are low-emitting countries, are the ones on the front lines of the climate crisis. It is totally unfair that cities and their populations are the ones suffering the worst consequences of the actions of the developed world. Their actions are taking a toll on our very existence, our development, and our well-being. This situation calls for urgent, collective global action. The high-emitting countries need to recognize and accept responsibility for their destructive practices and do the noble thing, honor the targets set out in the Paris Agreement, and provide the funding that is required to enable our small states to become resilient, adaptable, and sustainable.
Addressing gender-related issues remains a priority for the creation of an equitable and inclusive Caribbean.
However, despite notable progress made toward gender equality, SIDS continue to face distinctive challenges that hinder gender equality, women's rights, and the empowerment of women and girls. For example, intersecting crises in the region have significantly hindered the progress of gender equality due to their compounding effects on existing vulnerabilities and inequalities. We must therefore recognize and address the intersecting forms of discrimination faced by vulnerable populations in SIDS on any grounds, including gender, culture, race, ability, creed, age, socioeconomic condition, or other dissimilarity. Intersectional approaches are crucial in ensuring that no one is left behind in our quest for a resilient and sustainable future.
Child abuse remains a prevalent issue for the island. President Burton appealed to Dominicans to protect and care for the younger generation.
For a small population like ours, one case of abuse is one too many. These are just reported cases. There may be many unreported cases out there. Those vulnerable and disadvantaged children and adolescents need our attention, our time, and protection. The government is playing its part. What are the rest of us doing? Will we continue to turn a deaf ear to these cries for help? I hope not. We have to confront the societal problem as a collective frontally.
The inclusion of civics in education would play a significant role in building a more caring and progressive nation.
If we are to succeed in confronting the innumerable global challenges, we must unite in mind, heart, and purpose. Including civic education in the curriculum of every primary school on island would be a step in the right direction.
An $11.2 million budgetary allocation has been made to the Ministry of Environment, Rural Modernization and Kalinago Upliftment. Minister for Environment, Rural Modernization and Kalinago Upliftment is Honorable Cozier Frederick.
The budget allocation for the Ministry of Environment is well placed. I think it's in tune with what we want to do at the ministerial level. And so, like we say in some of those major conferences, we stand at a crucial sort of crossroad. And then because our choices today will affect what will happen down the road. So, because we know that the environment itself is very delicate. But the environment has a way of taking care of itself. If you look at Hurricane Maria, it ran through the country, it did havoc, but nature popped back up. The troublesome thing is that how resilient can we be as people to play our part?
Government continues its support and commitment of $1 million to the Kalinago Development Fund.
It's been over a year now that we have allocated some monies for the Kalinago folks in the name of the Kalinago Development Fund. And that sits at the Aid Bank. And people, of course, will have to go for the rigors of the banking system because we have to be accountable. And we have seen great strides. People invest in home development, in further in education. Some people have acquired assets. Those are motor vehicles, etc. And it's something that will continue to grow. And I was scanning for the budget here. I realized that the budget is committing to another $1 million this year.
He spoke of the critical importance of the Kalinago Development Fund.
We must not forget that there have always been the situation where the Kalinago folks were disenfranchised because they had no access to land as collateral. Yeah. We must not forget that. And this government have decided to allocate some money, and the government have decided to be the guarantor. Is it guarantor? Yes. To that facility. So it's moving on. I just want to encourage my folks from the Kalinago space to make use of that opportunity, and to push the homestay program we've been doing. And as we speak, Mr. Speaker, we have launched a Discover Kalinago website. Yes. Yeah. www.carinago.com.
The government continues to make strides toward the upliftment of the indigenous people with investment in key tourism sites.
One of the things we're doing, we're encouraging is to support what's happening on the national scene in terms of tourism. We have a Carinago pillar that Honorable Charles have been pushing and championing. Although she's a non-Carinago, but she's been pushing. Doing some serious work at the Carinago Bar now, doing the Les Calais trails over. And so we have a lot of work being done, and that will add to the Nature Island brand.
Key components under his ministerial portfolio for environment contribute to a dynamic Dominica.
Within the Ministry of Environment, we do have environmental coordination, forestry, wildlife and parks, Dominica Solid Waste Management Corporation, constituency empowerment, Carinago Affairs, and the National Employment Program. And if we scan through the draft estimates here, 2024, 2025, we'll see a number of line items, and I speak to rehabilitation of the trails and eco sites, the constituency empowerment, reforestation, enhancing the natural environment, multi-purpose Carinago center, waste management at the community level, strengthening our livelihoods in the Carinago territory. We are doing also the phase down of hydrofluorocarbons and through the Montreal Protocol, the Carinago Development Fund. And so all of those bits and pieces that really help to magnify what should be a dynamic Dominica.
The environment is a central part of the welfare of a country.
Education, it appears to me, not just about this budget, but on environmental protection is key. Education. And we at the Ministry of Environment have been out there doing the work. I think we can do some more. We should do some more. I think in the very same way that tourism is everybody's business, I suspect environment is everybody's business. Because if you have an old environment, then there'll be no tourism. If we have land degradation, no agriculture. If we have continuously sleeping off slopes, then all of it will get messed up. If we do not manage garbage, then we have pollution of all the sea and waterways. So I think more than ever, environment is everybody's business.
You are watching National Focus. More when we return. Welcome back. Minister for Housing, Honorable Melissa Popon Scarit, has fully endorsed the budgetary allocation of $1.4 million apportioned to the Ministry of Housing for 2024-2025. This supports the continuation of a number of initiatives facilitated under the Ministry of Housing and Urban Development.
At this moment, Mr. Speaker, there are 10 housing sites that are currently under construction in Dominica. And these developments will offer a total of 245 units. Essentially, we are building resilient settlements across Dominica. We have housing sites that are nearing completion in the North Penville, in Vacas and Paybush, Woodford Hill as well, coming down on the west coast, Kenfield East, and Trafalgar in the interior. Then we get to Point Michelle and Scottsdale and Grand Bay. And then we just commenced our 10th site, Mr. Speaker.
The allocation is well placed to bolster the momentum accomplished so far by the Ministry of Housing and Urban Development.
We have achieved remarkable milestones. We had 320 construction starts, 253 practical completions, 231 homes were handed over. The HRP project, Mr. Speaker, stands as a beacon of hope because it is in this project we ended up assisting 147 households in regularizing their long tenure status. This is a major achievement, Mr. Speaker. Additionally, I hope they're listening, because the ministry anticipates awarding 108 contracts to construct homes, including those in the East Coast relocation and as well as the original housing recovery project. This will be the largest number of awards ever undertaken during this time frame, and so we are gearing up for that, Mr. Speaker.
The various housing programs have greatly impacted the quality of life of Dominicans.
With the Prime Minister's visionary approach to build back better and to harness our local skills, we have employed and empowered hundreds of local contractors across Dominica. Mr. Speaker, a construction worker who could only build a step in 2020 now has a construction expertise, experience, and knowledge to now present himself as a qualified contractor. Hundreds of families across Dominica have benefited from our housing boom, not just in skills development, but socio-economic gains. And of course, the receipt of the greatest asset called a home.
The Ministry for Housing continues to advance resilience.
We also have plans and have already identified location for more housing in St. Joseph, in Collier, in Tebow, in Castle Bruce, and Rosevelt Central, Mr. Speaker. The proof is in the pudding, Mr. Speaker. We don't give false promises and don't follow up, Mr. Speaker. We deliver. We remain committed to providing housing across Dominica where no man is left behind.
Minister for Health, Honorable Cassani Laville, says the development of the country's health sector remains a priority for government. Government has long established its mandate to build a robust, modern and resilient health sector. Honorable Laville says primary health care continues to play an important role in the country's health system.
Last year, Mr. Speaker, a total of 51,782 visits to health centers were recorded. 2,433 clinics were held, 300 health promotion activities, 1,709 antenatal clinics attendances, 726 home visits. Although these statistics are noteworthy, Mr. Speaker, our goal is not merely to see numbers and repeat numbers, but instead to continue to utilize the services that we have, to continue to work to develop and improve the health outcomes and personal circumstances of our people.
Another important initiative to be undertaken and implemented by the Ministry of Health is the HEARTS program, as government recognizes the importance of improving the standard of care in Dominica. HEARTS in the Americas is an initiative led by the Ministries of Health, which seeks to integrate into an already existing health delivery service global best practice in the prevention and control of cardiovascular diseases.
It is now our institutionalized model of care for cardiovascular risk management in Dominica and in parts of the Americas sub-region, and with special emphasis on control of hypertension and secondary prevention in primary health care in the Americas, Mr. Speaker. This is the type of model that we wish to replicate in other areas of care. And several district medical officers have completed a HEARTS training program in Dominica. They have followed all the coursework. And in addition to that, we have been able to calibrate and standardize all of our equipment that are being used in the HEARTS program, to include blood pressure monitors, Mr. Speakers, and others.
HEARTS is being implemented and expanded in 33 countries across the region to include 6,052 health centers, which together cover approximately 39 million adults in the respective catchment areas. Government also remains committed to the continuous development and the training of healthcare providers as systems and medicines continue to be modernized.
Food care initiative, it remains a priority for us across all districts, and we have established a framework for food care in primary health care, and this program was most recently boosted by a 3-day workshop, and that started in November of last year. Just last month, the staff of the Granby and Castle Bruce health districts benefited from a training opportunity where they were able to improve their skills to strengthen essential steps involved in resuscitating newborns from birth to the first 60 minutes of their lives, Mr. Speaker. That is what we are engaged in primary health care.
30 health service providers and emergency responders also participated in a training session held in May, which was facilitated by PAHO at the Health Emergency Operations Center. A team will be on island to train health providers in the use of the MRI machines.
We also had, following that, a group of 14 health professionals visiting Grenada for rapid response team and incidents command structure training. So we're happy for these opportunities. And we have many more that are ongoing. Even very soon we will have a team coming from the People's Republic of China who will be here to help us with MRI training. So that is something that we absolutely welcome and we embrace.
Senator the Honorable Austell Lockhart says one cannot overemphasize the impact of the National Employment Program, NEP, introduced by Honorable Rosevelt Scarit's government. The Honorable Senator says there is a growing misconception that the NEP only offers cleanup and beautification jobs.
This is certainly not the case. Mr. Speaker, the NEP employs individuals ranging from those with primary education to those with master's degree across every sector. They represent their respective offices and departments at regional and international forums. The NEP salaries are in line with those in the government service. However, some individuals intentionally spread misinformation to be mischievous and malicious. And unfortunately, those who are under the NEP remain silent and not correcting these falsehoods and protecting their bread and butter. Mr. Speaker, I stayed contracted under the National Employment Program for many years. For many years.
The Senator was addressing Parliament during budget debate recently.
I have personally experienced the benefits of this flagship program. I have seen firsthand how it has transformed lives for many residents in the Castle Bruce constituency and around the country. The NEP has given thousands the opportunity to earn legitimate salaries. People who otherwise had never been able to gain employment, Mr. Speaker, due to lack of education and skills. Past issues with the law and other barriers are now able to work and take care of themselves and their families.
He sought to address critics of the NEP program, which serve as a lifeline for many unemployed Dominicans who are only able to care for their children through the generosity of others.
Mr. Speaker, this old saying, you never miss the water till the well runs dry, always comes to mind when employees themselves criticize the NEP program. Mr. Speaker, I can say with much certainty that had it not been for the NEP, the situation for many would be bleak. Those who sit and criticize the NEP, they themselves will not employ any one of them,
He says many local businesses continue to benefit from the free human resource support provided under the NEP.
This support is valuable in helping businesses to thrive and to grow. Mr. Speaker, do you know who has the most confidence in the NEP? It's the lending institutions. The lending institutions. Some of these institutions specifically structure financial packages aimed at the NEP employees. And why not, Mr. Speaker? With close to $4 million being spent to cover salaries of the NEP on a monthly basis, with a strong commitment by this government that the NEP is here to stay. These institutions are supporting our employees by providing them with the financial resources to advance their lives.
That was National Focus. And now for your weather advisory. Moisture and instability associated with a tropical wave will continue to generate cloudy skies with scattered showers and possible isolated thunderstorms, mainly across the islands to the south of Dominica. Meanwhile, a gradual drying out of the atmosphere can be expected across Dominica during this afternoon and tonight as a high-pressure system begins to establish itself across the area. The presence of Saharan dust haze can be expected during the next 24 hours. People with respiratory sensitivities are advised to continue taking the necessary precautions to avoid complications. Slight to moderate seas can be expected in open water, with waves now peaking near 7 feet. And that's all for this edition of National Focus. Be sure to follow GIS Dominica on Facebook, YouTube, and on Twitter. You can also drop us an email at gis@dominica.gov.dm. From all of us here on the GIS News Production team, I am Julian Morris. Thank you for watching.